What's going on, traders? We got a lot to talk about. We're just going to get straight into it. Like, subscribe, comment your thoughts below. Let's get into the video. So right now we're looking at the SPY daily time frame. And one thing I mentioned in the last video is as long as you stay below 564 on the SPY, you open the floodgates towards 540. And I still stand by that. Now, what was significant about 564, right? Well, here. Okay, right here where these guys are. You had a lot of turbulence here and you just cut through it like butter. I mean, you didn't even hesitate, right? You just broke straight through 564. You broke through these guys here, and now you're in very illiquid territory. Okay, so we're very illiquid towards the 540s on the SPY. At minimum, I'm looking at 550. Maybe we get a bounce from there since that is a pretty serious psych level, I would say. But ultimately, I do think we're going to head towards the 540s on the SPY. Now, I do know CPI is tomorrow. We're going to go over that in a bit. But as long as you stay within this range, you can be looking at a move as low as the 540s. Now, one thing I want to talk about when it comes to CPI tomorrow, right? Because I see a lot of people are bullish for CPI and they're trying to do like this Houdini thing where they're trying to, oh, CPI is going to pump the market and then Friday we're going to dump. Look, guys, one thing you shouldn't do is overtrade into this type of data. Okay, when you have the market dropping like this, you don't want to overtrade into news. Okay, even I have to, hold myself back or tell members like, hey, don't get too many contracts for tomorrow, or don't do this. If you're gonna trade, trade very light into this type of news because you can easily get a spike towards the upside, right? Where you do something like this and they make you panic at open. The market opens, you're already like an hour in, right? You're already an hour in, and then boom, right? You sold your position up here, you're locked out. You sold your position, you're negative in profit, and then they trap you, boom. All right. So CPI can easily do something like that. Now, when it comes to CPI data, which is tomorrow 8:30 Eastern time, right? So yeah, right here, core CPI month over month and then year over year. I don't think it necessarily matters how CPI comes in. And what I mean by that is if CPI comes in good, then that means inflation is slowing down. That also means that the Fed is less likely to cut rates. That's bearish. Okay, that's bearish. Ultimately, that is bearish. You want the Fed to cut rates, right? If CPI comes in bad, well, I'm assuming the market is going to react bad to that because that means inflation is going up or at least speeding up. So it's kind of a lose-lose situation. Now we can argue that the news is already priced in. We saw a massive drop yesterday, so we can argue that, right? That is a safe assumption. But again, we don't want to trade into that idea, right? Because sometimes good news is bad news in the market, sometimes bad news is good news. But ultimately, I don't think it matters how CPI comes in because it's a lose-lose situation. In order for me to talk about a bottom, right, or for me to talk about a rally towards the upside, and I want you guys to lock in here. The Fed needs to announce a rate cut. It doesn't matter when. It can be all the way in September, it can be in December. The market is forward looking. The market needs something to look forward to, right? Right now, we are trading in uncertainty. This is all uncertainty, guys, because we don't know when the Fed is going to cut rate or if they are going to cut rate. And not only that, we don't know what our president is going to do next in regards to tariffs. It's always, I'm going to do tariffs, I'm not going to do tariffs, so we're in a time of uncertainty. The market does not like uncertainty, it is always forward looking. Okay, so that's what we need in order for me to be somewhat bullish. And I'm going to give you guys another reason on, or another, I guess, yeah, reason on why I would be bullish in the market in a bit. But that's the main thing you want to look out for is the Fed to announce some type of rate cut. Okay, so that's what at least I'm looking for. What you look for is up to you. So that's what I'm looking for when it comes to, a possible bottom. If we're talking about a bottom, right? Triple Qs. So triple Qs, 469. You want to hold 469. You get below 469, you're very illiquid, and you open the floodgates towards the 450s. Okay, you open the floodgates towards the 450s. So I would argue that the triple Qs is looking slightly better than the SPY right now. But the moment you give this area up right here, you're very illiquid. You're very illiquid all the way towards 450. Now, if we zoom out, right, you see we bounced off this trend here, we bounced here, so we can be heading as low as 445 on the triple Qs, right? So that's what we can be looking at. Now, again, this is why I'm saying you should not overtrade until tomorrow. Can you have some positions? Sure, do your thing. But if you like are in 20,000 contracts on whatever because you maybe assume that the market is going to continue to drop, or maybe you just, I don't know, whatever strategy you got told you to keep, buying puts, right? um, you can easily get a move like this into tomorrow's open, right? You can just boom, retest 485, 484, and then you get that drop, right? So you don't you don't want to be this guy that loaded up tons of puts, and it's too late now. I mean, it's too late. You're already locked in, but you don't want to be this guy that loads puts here. And you might get lucky, okay? You might just get lucky, but ideally, um, it's not smart after the market makes such an illiquid move towards the downside to just over trade into news like this and to inflate, especially inflation news, right? Because again, we could just do something like this, retest 484, 485. We held 469 on triple Qs, and then you do something like this. You get panicked out of your position, you get trapped, and you have no choice but to sell, and then boom. All right, and then you're like kicking yourself. So you don't want to see that. Okay, I don't want to see that for you, but you're I'm assuming you're a grown adult, you're gonna do your own thing. So that's what I'm looking at for the triple Qs. I think it goes without saying. I mean, I pretty much talked about it. 484 is a key level, 485. Prior to that, you could be looking at a move to 477. I don't have it marked. Sorry about that. But right about here, around this range, you can be looking at a move towards 477, 478. Maybe that's your retest area. You saw us retest it. Actually, you saw us retest it before close, where you pretty much rejected. So that is a good sign. That is a good sign. So I might have fear mongered you a little bit there with that 485 move. Sorry about that. But yeah, you could be seeing a retest towards 477, if anything, and max you could be looking at, or at least I'm looking at a retest of 485 if the market decides to react, I guess, somewhat good towards CPI data. Again, I still think it's a lose-lose situation no matter how CPI comes in, but you just never know with this market. You just never know, and like I said before, you probably already priced in a lot of it, so we'll see. All right, semiconductor ETFs. Actually, I want to go over the VIX real quick because I just want to go over another reason why I would think a bottom is going to come. And I'm not saying the bottom is near or anything, but what I want to see with the VIX, guys, this is what you want to see with the VIX. So, one, you want to see if the Fed is going to announce rate cuts, or you want to see some type of sign that rate cuts are coming, right? So, if CPI, comes in bad, that means inflation is going up or speeding up, right? If that's the case, then we can assume that the Fed is probably going to cut rates. But on top of that, what I want to see is the VIX spike. I want to see a spike. The VIX slow climbing, that's scary. All right, you don't want to see this when it comes to the VIX. You want to see the VIX spike. Historically, when the VIX spikes, and I mean like fast, right? Fast. I'm not talking about just make a wick like this or a wick like this. I guess this will count as a spike, but regardless, I'm not talking about a wick or anything like a small wick. I'm talking about like some massive move, like fast move, where you just do one of these and then you start giving it back like almost immediately, probably within like an hour or two, right? That's what you want to see with the VIX. I still think the VIX has more room. I think the VIX is going to head towards 35. When that happens, I imagine probably tomorrow for CPI or maybe PPI, who knows. But regardless, that's when usually a bottom is near, when the VIX spikes and gives it all back. I mean, this was a good example back here. We saw the VIX spike all the way to like 65, gave it all back. That was when your bottom was in, right? And then you just see the VIX slowly decline from there. So that's what you want to see. So, two things I want to see when we're talking about a bottom. I want to see if the Fed is going to cut rates. It doesn't matter when, as long as they let the market know, or I guess investors know that, hey, we're going to cut rates at such and such time. That gives the market something forward to look for, something to look forward to. Sorry. And then I want to see the VIX spike off of that news. All right. Just spike and give it all back, or slowly start to give it all back. All right. I want to see a massive spike, even if it's a spike towards our target of 35, because you're very illiquid up here. We always talk about how illiquid we are around 35. I mean, even 38 is a pretty illiquid as well. So we always talk about that. So that's what we want to see. We want to see a touch of this area right here, and then we break down. All right, so that's what I want to see. Those are the two things I want to see, and then obviously I want to look at quant data and see if institutions are all lining up for calls. Right, so that's what I'm looking at for the VIX, guys. Hopefully that made sense. Let me know in the comments if that actually made sense. I tend to ramble and stumble over my words a lot, but I'm working on it. All right, so semiconductor ETFs. So this is interesting, right? This is interesting. So let's get rid of this. I don't know what this was. Yeah, so this is very interesting. So we got a little more space to the downside towards 205 on semiconductor ETFs, and this is why I'm kind of leaning towards the idea that the VIX might just actually spike sometime this week. Because I mean, look right here. I mean, you this is the weekly time frame, by the way. You bounced here, right? I mean, I find it hard for us to break below this. That would be insane. If we manage to break below this, I mean, good luck. GG's, it's over with. If you manage to break these guys and stop them out of their position. And even these guys, I mean, I don't even know anymore, guys. I don't know what to tell you anymore. You're so illiquid. You're so illiquid towards like 170s. So I would assume that we get a bounce here soon, right? I'm not saying all time highs or anything, or that's the bottom, but I would assume that we see something from here, right? I'm still bearish on Nvidia. We know SMH number one holding is Nvidia, right? I'm still bearish on Nvidia. I still think it's going to head towards 100, lowest probably 90. But yeah, I would assume that maybe you get some type of bounce from here. We'll have to wait and see. That would be crazy. We break below these guys. Crazy. Like pack pack your bags. All right, pack your bags. Earth's core is not even in question anymore. You're just heading to the sun at this point. All right, so yeah, something you don't want to see if you're bullish on semiconductors. All right, SOXX. The same thing with SOSX. I mean, you're looking at the weekly time frame, right? You got your bounce here, your bounce here. So I mean, if you break below these guys, I mean, GG's once again is that's bad. You already broke below these guys here. So 193. As long as you stay below 193 on SOXX, you're looking at you're opening the gates towards 180. All right. Our Discord bot alerted to us that institutions are loading up 191 puts for March 21st on SOXX. They're currently in profit on this thing. They loaded at like 194, so they're currently in profit on this thing. But yeah, it closed at around 192, so I do imagine that that 191 target, if not lower, is going to play out. And once again, you close below 193. You stay below 193, you're looking at a move towards 180 on the SOXX ETF. So that's what I'm looking at for SOXX. His number one holding is AVGO. I think his second holding is Nvidia. Correct me if I'm wrong there. So yeah, not looking good. Nvidia, still bearish. Still bearish. Still think this thing is going to see 100. That was the. I mean, I'm keeping it short and simple here. I mean, there's nothing to really talk about when it comes to Nvidia. One thing I will say, if Nvidia gets below 103, you're opening the floodgates to 96, 94 range. Simple as that. You break below 103, and we saw this. We saw Nvidia touch 103 last night after hours. We saw this. Okay, if you get below 103, guys, yeah, you're heading towards these guys right here in this area here. Let me zoom in for you guys. All right, or zoom out a little bit, but right here. Okay, that's what you're looking at. So you want to see 103 hold if you're bullish on semiconductors. If you're not, you want to see you want to see 103 get decimated. All right, so that's what you're looking at for Nvidia in regards to downside. When it comes to upside, we saw what happened today. It tried to reclaim 110, it could not. It rejected 110 once again. We can argue 112 as a level as well, but if as long as you stay below 110, we'll say 112, you're looking good. You're looking at more downside when it comes to Nvidia. Ultimately, once again, your key level here is 103. I imagine that semiconductors, because one thing we saw today is the SPY was tanking, triple Qs was tanking. I would argue that we were just trading in a range, honestly, but we were making some pretty big moves in both directions. But you didn't see semiconductors react, so that tells me that semiconductors are waiting on news. Whether it's CPI news, I don't know. Whether it's China tariff news, I don't know. But regardless, you want to be careful trading Nvidia to the upside. All right. I know you have. I know you. Some of you are optimistic. You're trying to trade this thing. You're saying it's going to go to the moon. It's invincible. Tell you guys now, this thing is heading to 100. I'm gonna keep saying it. I mean, I've been right all the way up here, all the way up here. I even showed you guys why I believe Nvidia is going to drop multiple times, and I'm hoping it made sense. It had to make sense. There's no way it didn't make sense. Showed you guys on a monthly time frame just how bears kept stepping in at 140. Look where we are now. Had my doubters, of course. Had people doubting me, but it is what it is. I believe, I understand, people want Nvidia to, go crazy. But as far as investment opportunity, I think 103 is a great place to invest into Nvidia. 90 is another good target. Between 94 and 90 is a good target as well. I'm not going to talk about other targets because I feel like people are just not going to invest and they're going to hope that that target hits. So that's what I'm looking at for Nvidia. Long term, I think this is a beautiful buying opportunity. All right. Between 103, 110, beautiful buying opportunity. If you're in it for the long term. Okay. You don't care about drawdowns right now. You're just investing. All right. So that's what I think. You do what you want with that information. Apple. Last stock is Apple. You're looking at this massive descending triangle. Congratulations to Discord members. Congratulations to new members. You guys made money with us today. We didn't go crazy today. It's always going to be slow days. It's going to be fast days. Today was a slow day. But yeah, we made profit on Apple puts. Um, like I said, this thing is heading towards 200, guys. Simple as that. Another thing, lock in with me. Lock in with me. Boom. Wait, what happened? Boom. 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 I mean, it's pack your bags. Pack up. I mean, do I gotta say it? Do I gotta tell you what this is? It ain't looking too good for Apple. And you guys know how I feel about Apple. I've been bearish on this thing since after its earnings. Probably a little bit before its earnings, actually. Yeah. So you do what you want with this information. I think Apple's gonna continue to tank. You might get a bounce from here. I mean, it's holding this key level at 220. You may see a little, little bouncy bounce here. You see a little some retest of 226, 227, something like that. But other than that, yeah, pack up. Other than that, that's all I have. You let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Again, as far as CPI data, I got nothing for you when it comes to CPI data. Whether it comes in good or bad, I don't think the market is going to react too well to it. What I will say is wait 30 minutes until open for the market to digest whatever news because you can easily get trapped, whether it's to the upside or to the downside. Um, but other than that, again, just wait until open. You guys know I want all of us to win. And hopefully, if you did a ton of contracts at the close, hopefully you win. Okay. As far as the Discord goes, I mean, a lot of you joined, man, and I'm truly grateful. Truly grateful. You guys are absolutely amazing. A lot of you joined and you just started chatting off the rip, going crazy and all that, and I truly love that. A lot of you are just sitting in the sidelines. That's fine, you're scoping out the scene, whatever. But a lot of you joined like previously, whether it was yesterday or a few days ago, and you're already banking. This guy, shout out to Tony for the info on the VIX last month, made 5K off the VIX. He did 20 calls on this thing. You guys know we've been talking about the VIX for quite some time. Yeah, a lot of you keep sleeping on the VIX, man. You keep sleeping on the VIX. I don't care what any trader tells you. It's a great indicator on what's going to happen. All right, you just gotta learn how to read it. All right. This guy here, he did 530 puts. We talked about institutions loading up those 529 puts that I just showed you guys. He made 1,300 off of it. You know, um, this guy here, he made 3x the membership fee in one day right here. So I mean, yeah, lock in, people. What is this? Let me actually click here. Yeah, he made $300. Nice, very nice. All right, this guy here, as usual, he's always profiting. He's always profiting. He's been here like a week and he's always killing it. So, yeah, I mean, I can keep going, but ultimately, thank you guys. You guys have been truly amazing. Whether you join the Discord or not, I really don't care about that. I'm just here to make money. Simple as that. I'm here to make a bag off of trading. I'm here to help everybody else make a bag. It's the best way I can. You hate me, you love me, doesn't matter. My life is good. I'm hoping your life is good as well. Until the next video, traders, you have a good one.